Take you back to Soweto. Putco has called on the police to safeguard the bus company's facilities. The management has obtained a court order for those demonstrating to be removed from their premises. Putco workers continue with their demonstration outside the service's main depot in Soweto. The bus service yesterday issued a notice dismissing about 1,000 workers that have been on strike for over a week now, calling for a 6% wage increase and bonuses from 2020. SABC economics reporter Katlego is in Dobsonville for us and joins us now. Katlego, it seems like the police are stamping their authority. Are we able to confirm this, and what is happening there where you are?
Well, Mkolisi, I must say this process here on the ground has culminated into a court order or a court process that is set to get underway at 12 o'clock. We believe that the employer has more or less roped in the courts to try by all means to try and pin down the workers in just getting them to comply and go back to their positions. So this is basically an issue or a process, a strike action that has been ongoing for about 8 days now, and this workers are so relentless in saying that theirs is to ensure that the employer does right by them and pays them really what is rightfully theirs. We're talking about a process that started in 2020 already, and the workers saying to us that the employer has had a tendency of just approaching the courts to try reverse processes. This 6% was agreed upon at the bargaining council in 2020 already, but we've seen the employer just pushing ahead to approach the courts again to try reverse the process, something that the workers have really had not taken kind, and it has led to them embarking on that unprotected strike action here on the ground, and the employer also coming through with threats to say that they had needed to explain themselves. Yesterday already by 5 o'clock they were given that platform to explain themselves as to why they should not be dismissed. That deadline has come, it has gone now, and the workers are still here on the ground trying to put pressure on the employer. And this time around, I must say, Mkolisi, it's a process that we are seeing the unions being roped in to try and assert some sort of authority as well in ensuring that the worker does the employer does right by the workers. We are told that NUMSA will be taking charge and leading those processes in the labor court at 12 o'clock, as the police are also here on standby to ensure that come 12 o'clock, and if indeed the interdict and the order goes in the way of the employer, these workers that are here demonstrating will be forced to move from this premises, because that's what the employer has been calling for, to say that they need to be removed from the premises so that the buses that are parked here can be able to operate, so that those that are actually on duty and had not embarked on this process can be allowed to continue with work. We can understand as well, Polisi, that this is a process that has seen the loss of revenue for 8 days for the employer. This is also a process that has seen commuters also having to dig deeper into their pockets in trying by all means to accommodate themselves in seeking alternative modes of transport. I'm just going to show you what is happening on the side. These are the employers that are more or less saying that there's a chopper that is hovering around here, and they are saying that indeed they're not taking kind to that chopper being here. This is a chopper belonging to the South African Police Services that is set to more or less try by all means just attend to what is happening here, setting authority. But I'm gonna bring into the conversation now some person that is more or less privy to what is happening here. His name is Pumlani Ndlovu. He's been leading the talks here on the ground and the demonstrations, and they are resolute that come 12 o'clock they're not going to move here. Let me invite him into the conversation now. Welcome, sir, to SABC. Just let us in over the fact that there's that court process that is set to take place now at 12 o'clock. We are hearing that there's an order that is pushing you guys to move from this facility, as the employer is trying to see that at least business gets back to usual. What do you make of that court process that is underway? Explain to us what this process is all about really, and how will it serve to block the processes here on the ground in terms of the demonstrations that you've embarked on for about 8 days now.
Thank you, Katlego. We have seen the papers on the wall that are saying the court has proceeded the interdict, but we are still standing on the ground saying we're moving nowhere. Even if they're trying to move us, we'll just move some few meters away from here, but we are still standing on the ground saying we won't move here until we get our money, because the employer knows everything about us. He was here, and right now you see him flying on the air here, checking the situation, but he knows exactly that he's owing us, and then he denies everything that we have tried. We've even got some documents that shows that we have tried to engage with him, but he denies all the facts that we wanted to prove that he doesn't have the money.
Just let us in on that process. I mean, that list that we saw in the morning around that court order that is underway, and also the names that are there. Those are names of people that stand to be out of job basically today going into tomorrow, in terms of the processes that are underway by the employer. What do you make of that? Are you aware of some of your members that have been demonstrating in terms of having hit to the call to reply to the employer to say that indeed we are explaining why we find ourselves here? What do you make of the impending job losses coming out of this company, Putco?
Employees, they are taking themselves as the unemployed as well already because of this employer. So now what I'm saying is all the employees now are ready for any action from the employer. Even those papers, they took all the papers, they put on a fire. They said they don't want to hear anything about those papers. Even he can plug the papers the whole day. They can't entertain those papers. Yeah.
What do you make then of the commuters that have been left, wanting, some of them having to even dig deeper into their pockets to try get from point A to point B due to the halting of the bus services, the Putco bus services? I know that today we're expecting to see some of them also here joining forces with you guys as Putco employees to try and put pressure on the employer. What do you make of the commuters, the community members, and have they really been rallying behind the demonstrations here on the ground by the bus operators?
We feel so bad on the communities recently, because we see that they are struggling to go to work and come back, but then we'll try and resolve the situation so quickly. But if it doesn't happen in that way, we feel sorry for that. Maybe they will try some other alternatives, and then the communities as well, they became our friends and our families, because they are the ones that are supporting us, and then they are the ones that we communicate more than the employer.
Thank you very much, sir, for coming through to the SABC. I'm just going to ask Mashudu to show you what is happening in terms of the police activity here on the ground. Police really positioned here from very early in the morning to safeguard the process here on the ground. And you can also imagine that this is a facility that saw a private security also roped in to try and block the demonstrations here on the ground. The debris still exists here. You can see it's visible, and most of the workers here are saying that they are going to be continuing with the demonstration. That court process is not going to intimidate them or to deter them really from just continuing with the demonstrations and what is happening on the ground. And it remains to be seen really at 12 o'clock what would go, how that process would unfold in the courts. At NUMSA, we are hearing that the unions are also now just coming through to try and protect the workers. They're going to be questioning the legitimacy of enforcing that letter of termination for the services here. They're also going to be pushing for the employer to ensure that they go ahead with the commitment that was met in 2020 at the bargaining council. They're still resolute, the workers here on the ground, in calling for the 6% wage increment, also taking pity over the fact that there are commuters that are struggling as we speak to move from point A to point B, but saying that this was a necessary move. I'm going to just invite into the conversation now my colleague Molemo, who will just carry through in terms of explaining what is happening from his end.
We are at the Roseville Putco depot in Pretoria, and the situation here seems to be a bit quiet, with some drivers around here who are saying that they've been demanding a salary hike from 2020, which has not been forthcoming And I'm just going to be now joined by one of the bus drivers, James Ntweni, to tell us what is going on here. James, it seems a bit much quieter.
Yeah, as you can see, this is a peaceful strike, as I said to you. Like the employees, the bus drivers, the employees, the clerks, the workshop, the mechanics, all they demanded their 2020 bonus and 2020 increase. As you could see, that things are a bit high, tough. Groceries have risen, petrol and other stuff. So what we want is our money. At least if the employee can give us our big pay and our bonus, we will go back to work. We're not refusing to work. All we want is our money, so that we can resume our duties as normal. And
obviously, this depot, serves a large number of people who are working in Pretoria from Mpumalanga. This must be impacting a lot on them.
Yeah, we feel very pain. Our mothers, our grandmothers, our sisters, they are using Putco buses to come here to work, and some of them now they have been struggling financially because of they're not using buses. The taxis are a bit much expensive, but there's nothing we could do. We also want money. You cannot work while you're not getting any increase or any bonuses. He went to court, he lost, and then he appealed. He went to court, he lost. He appealed, went to court, he lost. He appealed. Now at least we tried talking to him to say, okay, instead of 3%, instead of 6%, give us 3% and big pay, and then don't discipline anyone. He said no. So in other words, seems like the employer maybe is not willing to meet our needs or our demands. So now he's been issuing letters of dismissal. As you could see that bus over there, yeah. There's names of the employees that are going to be dismissed. Yes.
Thank you so much. That's one of the bus drivers. They're saying that over 1,000 drivers have been threatened with dismissal.